All right, welcome back to another episode of Thoughts in Stereo. Today, I'm very excited. Nick's very excited. Ty's very excited behind the camera. We have Lukala. She's singer, songwriter, uber talented, from the city. Well, are you from the city? Have you always lived in Toronto?
From the city. I actually grew up in Regent Park, and then my family relocated to Durham. So
Nice.
I feel like I have a bit of both sides in me.
A little bit of the east,
A little bit of the
downtown.
east, Ajax, where a lot of I feel like some super producers were born.
Absolutely.
And then like downtown, like Street Smart.
Wait, Ajax, isn't Jordan Manswell from Ajax?
Yeah.
That's right.
You know Jordan?
Actually, isn't he more from Scarborough?
I think it's Whitby.
Whitby, it is.
But I
Whitby.
do know Jordan.
It is Whitby.
Yes.
Everyone knows Jordan. He's the best.
It's a small world, but literally like I don't know, Boy Wonder,
Yeah.
C minus,
Yeah.
Matthew Burnett,
You're
Jordan
from the
Evans,
right place.
Watch
a lot
it.
of people.
Watch it, all right? I'm from Mississauga, so we're not going to...
I mean, it's the right place. I'm sorry. Not
okay. We're definitely starting this on the wrong note here.
Well, that wraps it for this week.
week. No. Yeah.
Thank you for coming by. The exit is out. Okay, so... Okay, so...
I almost got booed one time at a show in LA. Like
You did?
No.
Yeah, like I didn't, but I almost did because like the Raptors just won last year.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
And like it was, what was it, like BT weekend, and I was performing at like one of the kickoff shows, and literally like I was like, "What's good? I'm from Toronto. We're the champions."
And
I was
everyone's like-
wilding. They literally were so mad. I was like,
course.
"Why are you mad? Like I'm a champion, bro."
Yeah, they had been the
And
champion for like 3-4
Too long.
Too long already.
Right,
how
but
long.
I mean, in the end, I won the crowd over. Like, but in
That's
the
all that
beginning, I
matters.
was very close to getting booed. Like this dumb ass bitch.
I think, you know what? It's funny. I was also in LA last year, 2019, for when the Raptors won. And I was like with some friends, and we were eating at a restaurant. They won. We celebrated. Pre-COVID, of course. And then as soon as we won, I went and did a session with a guy, Pilo, from literally the Bay Area. Like his team is the Warriors.
Yeah.
And I was just like, we were just laughing about it. He walked in, he's like, oh man, like he was so disappointed. And then when I was like,
Of course.
I'm from Toronto, he was like, he was
I
just
don't
like,
even want to meet you today.
no,
like,
it was completely over for him. That's quite funny. So you're performing at, where exactly were you performing during that weekend?
It's this show called The Basement. So it's I think I was like the first Canadian on that stage. So
Oh, nice.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
thank you. I'm already coming with all my shit talking, and I'm Canadian. Like that felt good. But no, like honestly, a lot of like really greats have like performed on that stage.
Yeah.
More so obviously American acts.
Yeah.
So it was cool to be like on that stage and to actually like get a lot of love. That's kind of how I actually met like my current manager.
Oh, wow.
And so many people, even like when we were getting to know like lawyers and all that kind of stuff, like people were like, "Oh, I saw Luke perform at the Basement." I'm like,
So that was a big
"No
show for
way."
you.
Yeah, so it was a big show, and it was a big like industry show, and it was a really good weekend. I remember like panicking beforehand because I had a photo shoot in Toronto in like a field of every flower possible in like
Love that.
June
Amazing.
or whatever, all the grass like growing literally. So once I got there, like once I got off the flight and I took a nap, like my pollen allergies kicked up like times 1,000, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna suck, everyone's gonna hate me. Like
Oh my
I
God.
literally was having a panic attack, and I just remember going to rehearsal that like the day I landed, and the lady that runs it, super sweet, she's actually the VP of Epic Records. So the lady that runs it, Erica, like I remember like her hearing me, and I was like, oh my gosh, she probably thinks I'm so trash. And she's probably like, how the fuck did she get on this bill? Like, because like my pollen allergies are really kicking my ass, and honestly, like
I get them bad every time I fly to LA. My sinuses are closed.
So maybe it was a double, like me being in the field,
And then-
having
Yeah,
a shoot
I'm
on
sure it was
top
the
of, like,
field.
flying.
Yeah.
Like, like, but literally, like, I just remember, and it was freshly cut grass as well.
Yeah.
I just remember, like, I was like, thank you, Jesus, like, when I didn't
I gotta
totally suck.
I
on
gotta
the day.
buy Claritin on my way to the airport every time I'm going to LA.
I'm gonna need to start doing
So I
that.
can just pop Claritin on the plane and be okay. Or like I'll literally for probably like 4 days for when I land, my sinuses are closed.
Wow.
It's that bad,
It's
eh?
so bad.
But that was me, and I literally landed day of rehearsal.
Oh
the
my
next day
God.
was the show.
That's stressful.
And I literally was like, I can't do this, God. Why me?
But yet you killed it.
Honestly,
because
in
that's
the
where you
end,
met
like,
a bunch of people.
Right. In the end, like I was like, I was like, I don't know, I was proud of myself that I didn't like not do it.
Of
Yeah.
course.
You know, because I was like, I can't back down. Like, even if I suck, like, YOLO, like, this is life. I
course.
gotta get it done. But I was very surprised by like the crowd's reaction and the love, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love it here.
So this was last year.
2019, like you said,
2019.
pre-COVID.
So
when we were living and we were allowed outside.
I know, right? How nice.
That
would
wasn't
be?
your first time in LA, was it?
That wasn't my first time. That was just
Right.
my first time performing in LA.
Gotcha.
Right.
And I was just like looking at your Spotify, listening to amazing music, and
Thank you.
I know you had 3 songs come out this year.
I did.
So was this kind of like the last, like you hadn't released a song since 2017? I think?
18. Okay, so I released my first song, my debut single, "Don't Count Me Out," in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Then I disappeared for a while.
That's okay though.
I had to get to know myself.
Of course,
honestly,
you
like,
have to.
I had to get to know myself,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. I had to get to know myself, and there was just some stalls in the process, and you know, growing the team and a lot of different things. So I think like it kind of sucked, like not being able to release something for a while, because then you kind of lose all your momentum and you have to completely restart.
Of course.
And I kind of got lucky, you know. Like, I'm not gonna like say that I'm not talented, but I definitely did get lucky with all the stuff that came along with the first song that dropped. So then like having to like, it almost gave me like an unrealistic expectations, because like, you know, the first song ended up going on like the radio and ended up being in the top 40 and all this stuff, and it was just like, you kind of think like, oh, this is what it's always going to
Yeah,
be like.
yeah,
So then
yeah.
when you restart and you've lost all your momentum and
It's-
you're at the
it's
beginning
tough
again,
to
I'm
go
like,
back.
God, kill me. Like, how do I get
Yeah.
there again? But I'm just happy that like I'm now dropping consistent music, and I took the time and did the work. So like I have a project coming out very
That's
soon.
incredible.
My debut project.
That's
Ah.
when do you have a date for it that
I
you can announce it?
do. It's called Worthy, and it drops on October 21st.
Hey.
Y'all are the first to hear. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, hey.
yeah.
I'm Italian now.
So I'm excited for that to come. Like, now we've been consistent, and honestly, a lot of the songs on that EP are like were written in 2018. Like, the majority of the songs on that
Yeah.
EP.
Wow.
So I'm excited for the world to hear like that, and then for the world to hear the music that I did all 2019 and all 2020. Like,
And
that's where like, all right, we're starting.
I just know that, you know, T was telling me how much amazing music you guys wrote over quarantine. And like without
Yes.
even seeing each other. So I know you guys put in the work there, and he kept talking very highly of you. And
T,
you know.
that's literally my brother, and honestly, like, he is a genius.
Yep.
I don't know if he told you guys.
T is a big
But-
part of the show.
He's a
I'm
good
just
friend
saying,
of the show.
He's a
good
comes
friend
up
of the
every
show.
episode.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if he told you guys, but like, I did not know how to record myself.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. So like,
Yeah.
all these songs that we recorded in the middle of the quarantine, I recorded on voice notes, like iPhone voice notes.
And he comped them.
And he
right?
comped the
He's
shit
comping
out
the
of
voice
those,
notes. That's
and
nuts.
they are lit. Like, I'm not even lying to you guys. Like, I'm shocked. Like,
That's
I'm actually
amazing.
shocked. I'm like,
That's
yo, like,
amazing.
are those really the voice notes? I'm like, all right. Like, so he's amazing. I can't believe he was able to like make that happen out of what I was giving him.
Yeah.
Now I'm a little bit better. You know, I'm a little bit better with the recording.
What do you record yourself on?
Like, what program?
Yeah. What do you do? Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Logic Pro.
Claris.
You know,
of course.
I'm not a pro yet, but I've done it 5 times now.
Nice.
And I know,
Nice.
like, T's probably over me because he definitely, like, gave me a computer to use. And
Oh, did he?
so, like, yeah, like, he set me up for the quarantine, and I only sent him one song with the program. But I'm like, yo, like, I swear to God, like, I'm getting better. Like, and all this, really, out of the 5 songs that I did on the program, 4 were last week. So
Nice.
I really, like, I need
You're
to get
putting
it
in the
together.
work now.
But I'm putting in the work now, so what's good? I know what I'm doing a little bit more now. It's hard, guys.
Yeah, especially with
I'm out here
Logic.
for a
That
pimp.
takes a while to learn how to
It's
record.
like I guess like I'm just not a technical person, you know. So it's hard out here for a pimp. But I'm trying. And maybe one day I'll be like, "Yo, guys, I'm dropping the cassettes. I'm dropping the voice notes. iPhone, Apple, like sponsor me. What's good? I'm dropping it so everyone could hear."
It's funny
sound.
though. It's true. Like iPhone, the microphone on an iPhone,
it sounds great.
it's really good.
It's shocking.
There's
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
songs that I've done where like the piano or the guitar is straight up a voice note.
Wow. Wow.
Like just like trying
really
to
good.
mix
And I
it in.
believe it. Like before this, I would have been like, yeah, I don't know. Like, what are you talking about? But like now I
course.
believe it. Like, especially when like this one producer taught me, like, he's like, just leave it down in one spot so that
Yeah.
everything is consistent every time like you do a take. Like, and literally getting that song back, I was like, yo, this is crazy. But like, I'm not gonna lie, T spoiled me because like then I'd be working with other producers and I'd be like, yeah, I can send you like voice notes, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like this awkward like staring at each other like, yeah, that's what I can do for you.
Because T puts in work.
Yeah,
He puts in work.
He
yeah.
puts in the work for sure.
I'm a
T is a
blessed
very good
girl
engineer.
to have the T in my stratosphere.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Yeah,
Nice
T
transfer
T is
here.
truly one of those guys where it's he just people that work with him, they always say how good it is to work with him and,
Yeah.
and how
It's
lucky
really
they
true,
are.
yeah.
He's very talented. I think you also work. Tell me if I'm wrong? Do you work with Jack Rashawn?
Yeah.
That's my brother.
Oh, say word. I was just with him last week.
Yeah.
We wrote this song that I'm obsessed with.
Really?
Obsessed. And this is the first time that we had ever worked with one another. And this was in August. So we actually cut the vocals like last week. And I'm like, he's, we actually we share the same manager.
Oh, nice.
Not Christian.
Yeah.
Oh, are you managed by Christian?
Yeah, as of recent.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
That's huge. I love. That's awesome. No, seriously.
I was like, what does that mean?
No, seriously. Christian is a powerhouse. That's excellent.
Yeah. So, yeah, we share the same manager. So he got us in this room together. I think we're the only 2 Canadian people on
Yeah.
that roster. Yeah, no, he's sick. He's going to be a beast.
Oh,
He's a producer or writer?
yeah, producer.
Sick.
He's going to be a beast. Like,
yeah.
you know, like there's just some people that you're just around them like a 1-2 time and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
like you're special. And
That's Jack.
like what you're doing is already great. But like,
Mm-hmm.
I know that like you're going to, like the more you tap
There's
into
so
that,
much
you're going to be
room
amazing.
to grow. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so he's like, yeah, great energy as well.
Yeah,
I think it's a Canadian thing though.
I think you're
Yeah,
right.
We're
think
just
so.
good people.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Jack is. You work with T a lot. Jack is like my T. He's
Oh, okay,
very
nice.
super talented, nice guy, great guy.
Come on the show.
Yeah, no, I
on the
will
show.
invite him. It's actually a good point.
Jack Roshan, we're waiting for you. Come on the show whenever you're ready.
As if he can hear, as if this won't be released like 2 months from now, and we'll have already recorded the episode before this comes out.
I'm dead. Yeah, Christian's my co-manager, and then I have a based Toronto
in Toronto.
manager as well,
Nice.
Omar.
Nice.
That's excellent. You, if I'm not mistaken, did you perform at the Canadian Music Week?
I did.
How was that? What year was that?
2019.
It was last
Yo,
year.
everything feels like a blur.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It was last year. Yeah, last year I did, and I got to like open for Marshmallow.
Oh,
that's
sick.
dope.
Yeah, that
What was
pretty cool.
Where were you performing?
Um,
Dun dun dun.
wait, what's the big one? Rebel.
Rebel.
Yeah,
It was at Rebel.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a great venue.
yeah.
Yeah, it was at Rebel. That was my first time ever on that stage.
That's a
but
really incredible
that was
venue
a-
to be performing
That was a
at.
good stage.
Yeah.
It was
It's a
a
really
good
good
sound
stage.
system.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're like lit. Like I'm
Yeah.
excited to one day be there and maybe have my own crowd.
Oh, I don't
Sold
doubt
out.
it at
Yeah.
all.
It's
Yeah.
coming.
I don't doubt it.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it's gonna be 2023 because right now we're living in a pandemic still, but it's gonna happen.
Damn.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that experience? Like performing there? Was that one of your? How many times have you really performed since like 2018? Say since the first song came out.
I think I did a lot of performances like mainly in 2019.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because my first song came out in fall of 2018.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So I feel like, yeah, I did like a couple different like really cool shows. Obviously, everything slowed down this year, and like right when things were coming up, and like
Yeah, I
more
know.
performances were coming on, like better like shows, I
Yeah.
should say, like the kind of shows I'd like to be more in line with. And
Yeah.
this whole thing screwed it up. But 2019 was a big like travel / performing year for sure.
Yeah.
So a lot of venues. I think Rebel was probably the biggest one though.
What was that like? Like being up there and seeing? Was it busy? Like were there a lot of
Yeah,
people?
it was like packed, and it was really cool because like I don't know, I only did a couple songs.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have, first of all, I only had one song out, so I don't know why I was singing anything more. But I did do like 3 songs.
Do you do like your unreleased stuff?
Yeah, I did No
awesome.
Smoke, which is out now
Nice.
as a like co-song, and then I have another song on that project that's coming out that I did that day, and it was really cool because the people in the crowd, like, you know, a lot of people were singing back like my song, and I was like, no way. Like,
Really?
I don't know. Like, that was crazy to see
That's
because I was
dope,
like,
yeah.
no one knows me. Like, you know, like I.
Yeah, you never expect that.
Right.
As like a
You literally
growing
never
artist.
expect
Yeah.
that. So to be on that stage and like to have all those people like cheering and singing like back like some of my like the words, I was like, shut the fuck up.
That must be such an incredible
We're
feeling.
making it. We're making it.
In that
Like-
moment, you're like, I've made it. I did
right,
it.
right.
I did it.
I know
already.
that like the day that I actually have like the entire audience like
Of
singing
course.
back to me, like I'll definitely shed a tear too. You know, I didn't have the
Absolutely.
whole audience yet, but we're working towards it. And honestly, like just me being like independent, like I'm very grateful and aware of like all the opportunities that I am being given.
Yeah,
So it's lit.
that's awesome.
That's incredible. How?
Um,
oh no, go ahead.
you
ahead.
go.
No, please go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you go. No,
Oh my
you go.
God,
You-
stop it.
You hang up.
It's literally
Are
a
you fully independent, or what's your like label situation like?
I am. I'm independent. I have a distributor.
Amazing.
For my EP, I told myself I wanted the first project to be
Yep.
fully independent. Post this, like I'm finally opening up myself
Yes.
to more because I was saying no for a long time.
Oh, smart.
a lot of
It's
these
it's
labels.
it's a lot of artists now are saying no to labels and doing the independent thing, which I
Yeah.
think is it's amazing
I
because
think sorry.
it's no. I'm just saying like
It's a
people are
different time.
realizing that they don't absolutely need the label.
Right. It's scary for me because like it is like I don't know, like labels have always scared me. It's definitely something like when you're a kid you really want.
Of course,
but
because
there's-
you think that that's like okay, you signed to a label and then
right.
you're good.
But then like you have to remember there's a lot of people that are signed to labels that aren't anyone, that no one knows. So you
Yeah.
never know like how the cards will play.
It's true.
And I think people should just do what they want at their own pace. But I do also know that like the reality of it, the reality of it is that I'm in pop, so it's not really the same world. Like you name me one independent superstar
Yeah.
that's in pop.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. And that doesn't mean that it can't be a thing one day, but pop is definitely more of a machine sport. So I'm trying to open myself up as much as I can.
Yep.
You know, the manager's been begging. So
It's
I'm-
all about, wherever it is that you find the right team.
I'm just proud of myself that I like the first project. Like I executive produced this, and
That's amazing.
I went through with it. I was like, I'm not signing a deal for this first project. As much as people thought I was crazy.
That's hard to
So-
stick to.
It's
It-
hard
it
to,
is really
you know,
hard to
when,
stick to.
When like the calls start coming and the emails and all that kind of stuff, like you're like, but then you're like, no,
Mm-hmm.
like we are gonna like continue on this route because I want to see what I can do like by myself.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I'm not really by myself because I obviously do have a small little team, but
course.
I want to see like what we can do like before having all of that. And I trust myself. I trust my taste in music and the stuff that I like and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be able to like once I do decide to go the label route, be like, yo, like this is what I did by myself. So I'm gonna have control. Like I just want y'all to know, like I'm
Like
still wanna
kind of
control my
telling them
music.
like, hey, I know what I'm doing.
I know what
don't
I'm doing.
absolutely need you.
Right.
But I'm glad we're working together. But here's my worth. Now,
Literally.
now hold up your cards and show me
Right.
what you're gonna do
right.
too.
It literally exactly that. Like I feel like I know what I'm doing, and I don't know. I trust my music taste,
Yep.
and I trust like my writing and certain stuff, and I know like the story I want to tell. So I just want to make sure that once I do sign a deal, if I decide to go that route, that I'm still telling my story the way I want to tell it,
Yes.
and it's not like all these like. You know, label like
I love that-
corporate people telling me like, no, like this is what sells, like this
Yeah.
has to do this. Like, nah, fuck that. Like that's not what I want to do.
I love that you know exactly what you want to do. You do know the story you want to tell. You do know exactly what you want to talk about, what you want to sound like, and that's such an important thing because I feel like there's so many artists that just say like either I'm a pop artist or I'm whatever genre they want to be, and then they end up going to a label, and the label tries to formulate them into what
Right.
they think they should be, and almost 100% of the time that doesn't work.
It doesn't. That's just like so
What,
not
like-
me. Honestly, like I took a lot of time to like develop myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember like, you know, years ago being a part of a couple like different programs in the city, like the Remix Project. And
Oh,
like,
were you? Oh, you were in the remix.
yeah, so I'm an alum and a couple different things, and those were cool, but I don't think I was ready to be there yet because I didn't know who I was yet. So I just remember when the ball started rolling, and then I had to like pause everything and be like, yeah, actually I'm out. Like I don't really want to do this. Like
Yeah.
I'm not ready for this, and it hurt me. I remember like back then being like, oh my gosh, like did I fuck up? Like did I say no to like the best opportunity that's gonna come my way? Like my friends literally made me feel like I did.
Yeah.
Really?
My friends who know nothing about the music industry, but like they're like, oh, I can't believe you said no to this person and da 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 da. Like, and I was like, so that like kind of haunted me for a few years, like when I was away from music and just living my life.
Yeah.
And then finally, when I like was like, all right, bitches, I'm out here, I'm back, I'm doing performances again, like, and I feel like in that time, like, I just had lived more life. I knew more of who I was, like. And in more of the writing that I would do, I knew the way I wanted to sing.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And like literally like that took so long, but I think that's the best thing I could have done because I actually wrote Don't Count Me Out a year before it dropped. And I think around the 6-month mark of me writing it, I was like, I think this is gonna be my first single. Like I literally was like, I think this is it. Like I think this is telling the world like who I am. And I was like, yeah, I think we're gonna go with this. And like that song opened so many like doors for me from like the radio, from people hearing it, from like competitions to me writing in LA, like at the Babyface camp. Like it just did so many different things off of a rough demo. But I don't think that would have happened if I didn't take the time to like listen to my sound and even listen to those around me that were doing it at a higher level that sometimes could share like some insightful like opinions. Like I back then I was doing like some like somewhat session work, which I suck at. I like really am not the one. Like don't call me. I'm sorry guys. I really wish I could like come in and like just give you these vocals that you're asking me to sing for a demo real quick, like, but I can't. Like I just remember I don't know, Cause. I don't know if you guys know Cause, but
he's actually my neighbor. Like,
no way.
Yeah. I just found out.
Sick. I went to his place like at top of this year actually and reconnected, which was cool. But he had asked me in to do like a demo. Like I think they wanted to pitch something, a 1-2 time. And honestly, like I remember him being like, yo, like thought this was gonna take you like 45 minutes to like an hour, but it took you 8. And I was like, is that bad? I was bad. I was really bad. But anyways, long story short, one of the demos we were doing at one point, he was like, oh, don't say any words, just make noises. Like, and I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, just like vibe out to like whatever you want. And I was like, okay, but like not actual real words. Then I started doing the weirdest shit possible. Like I promise you, like it was something like double D, blah 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 blah. Like it was fucking weird, and I still have the recording of it. Like it was fucked up.
Did it end up sounding dope though?
Yo, like he waited till I was done the take, and then he stopped me. He's like, yo. He's like, this is crazy. And I was like, what? And he's like, I'm not gonna lie to you. He's like, I wasn't like, he basically made me feel like he wasn't impressed by me before. And I was like, damn. Like, he's like, I know everybody else thinks like you're great, but like, I wasn't like that. Like,
wow, he was that forward about it.
Right. I was like, he's forward.
Yeah.
And then like, he's like, this shit you just did, like, if you like hone that in and you start writing in that world, like, this is something. Like, this is special.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I could have been, like, my ego could have been in the way, like, whatever, like, he's dissing me, like, how dare he, like, and back then, a lot of people used to compare me to, like, Adele and stuff, like, so I don't know, like, whatever. Anyways, I was just, like, I could have been in my own, like, ass and been like, nah, like.
But you took the positive out of it.
But I did take the positive out of what he did, and I'm not gonna lie, like, that was a monumental piece of like my sound and in what I've built from that moment on, because like it was actually like what comes more organically to me. But like the way I used to sing was me trying to sing perfect in the way that people thought that I should sing. So like when he just let me just freestyle and do the weirdest shit ever, like that literally was like the starting baby of like Lou, who's then turned into Lukala. So it was a thing.
I love that you can pinpoint that.
Yeah,
like
that's
kind of
awesome.
like how that was one of the main moments.
That
That's
was
amazing.
literally like a moment. Like I don't know. Like I sometimes once the Bloom and I'll go and like listen back to that take, and I'm like, this is weird, bro. Like, but like it feels good because that was kind of me at my freest when someone just let me just do
whatever comes to mind.
Right, instead of just like follow this, follow that. So that definitely helped me.
I think that's super important because I feel like people that are, for listeners and stuff like that, people that want to be artists and trying to start writing and this and that, and I feel like everyone's like, okay, I want to be an artist, let's write me a radio hit.
Right.
And it's like that's like almost first order of business for them. Because of course you want to put something out in the world, you want to show people what you're doing, and that's
so
completely
weird to me.
understandable. But it's just like go in, do the weird stuff, do whatever
Right.
you're hearing, even if it's not a real genre, so to speak,
You
quote
can
unquote.
like literally make anything up nowadays. Like, and I think that's like the cool thing about living in right now is that you can literally be anyone you want to be, as stupid as that sounds. Like, and I think that yeah, for me, making that up and like just hearing that back and then being like having something to like reference as I work on, like be like, oh, this side of my voice is kind of cool and like this tone is sick too, and like all that kind of stuff. Like I don't know, that was really important to me. Shoot, you just said something that I wanted to piggyback off of, but like I have the worst memory ever.
It's
Like,
okay, me
it's
too.
Bad.
It's okay.
I do have a question. After that interaction with Cause, how did your songwriting process change after that?
Well, funny enough, actually, Cause is the first person I ever co-wrote with.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
It was him, Division, so Daniel Daly,
Sick.
Oh, nice.
and this other guy. But sorry. But like, and we got a cut, which was cool. It was like the first time I ever wrote with people, and then like that ended up being like a Jennifer Hudson song.
Jeez, dope.
But like, I don't know if I was ready for the songwriting land yet. I think like it was just like it was a little intimidating because I was like I've only written like in my bedroom.
Right.
At
Yeah.
that time, I had only written in my bedroom by myself. 2 a.m. peak time. Like it was lit. Like I think
love
I worked
that.
at like a banquet hall or something, and like literally like I'd just be walking around with my voice note and like singing stuff and like writing
That's
like
dope.
the whole time. Like that was really like that was like my thing. And so I think one thing that did change off of working with them is like, oh wow, like you can start working at noon or at 1 p.m. Like you don't have to do 2 a.m. peak time because
Yeah.
these are daytime, and in pop it's more of a daytime thing. I think that was a cool thing to rewire my brain to make me feel like, hey, I don't have to wait till all the lights are off.
Yes.
And I'm sure in the beginning I probably had to turn off the light in the daytime just to at least make me feel like it was night.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I didn't feel like I could be vulnerable in the daytime. But like now, I'll walk into the
Yeah.
room. Like the other day when I wrote with Jack, like I'll like walk into the room and like these guys don't even know me.
Like you
And I
own the
just grab
building
the
and you're just like,
mic,
"What's up?"
Right. And I'm like, I just want you to love me. Like I'm just saying the most
That
vulnerable
is,
shit.
those are literally the
And-
best sessions.
Right, and they're
when
like,
people come in
I think
that,
people are
though.
looking at me like, is she okay? Like, but like now I just pour my heart out, and I think like it just helped me. It helped me one work in the daytime, and then when I did DCMO with the producer Robin Del Lunto, like that actually helped me be more vulnerable.
Okay.
Because before then, I feel like I had a little bit of a wall up. When writing songs, I could write a solid pop song. I'm good
Yeah.
at structure. Structure is my thing. But like it was never about me. It was about the girl in the movie. It was about my friends. It was about like
Yeah.
stuff like that. And after writing with her, like I just remember like when we were writing Don't Count Me Out, I closed my eyes and I was like, I know I'm a big girl and you're afraid to claim me. And like I just remember opening my eyes being
That's
like,
your
yo,
Instagram
you're
bio,
fucking
right?
embarrassing.
Yeah.
That is my Instagram
Yeah.
bio. Hey, I see you do be doing your work. But no, like honestly, after that moment, like I was like, I don't want to write these songs that aren't about anything. I really want to write about myself and my truth.
Of
and
course.
like
Yeah.
it's been such a healing process for me because some things sometimes that I don't even realize that I'm feeling.
Yeah.
When I do write songs, it just comes out, or a lot in my freestyles. Like the shit that I'm really feeling down deep comes out in my freestyles. So like that opened up the door for me to feel comfortable. And I think if I hadn't worked with a woman producer, I don't know if I would have felt
As vulnerable.
that way
Yeah.
yet.
That's
you know what I mean?
incredible.
Like that definitely
That's
helped me
awesome.
tap into my vulnerability. So shout out Robin.
That's incredible.
That's dope.
Yeah, that is truly a great story, and I think a lot of our listeners would appreciate that, especially some of our female listeners.
Yeah.
They'll love to hear that.
Yeah.
They'll definitely love to hear that.
I think it's important, honestly, before I work with her, like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I was kind of like, oh, they put me in, like, you know, with, like, the token woman. Like, you know, like, and I was feeling some type of way, like an idiot. And I think, like, now that I can check my privilege, and it's kind of sad, it's kind of messed up to say that as a woman, but now that I can really look back at it, it's because I had never worked with a woman before.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't think you realize how different that experience can be until you actually like do. I'm not saying that women producers are better than men or vice versa,
Of course.
but that was my first time that like I almost got challenged, and like the norms kind of changed.
Wow.
You know, like I could actually work with someone who's equally as talented,
Yep.
could even be better, but before I probably wouldn't have wanted to because I had never had that experience. So I don't know.
That sounds like a really like eye-opening experience.
It was an eye-opening experience. I think after that, like I really try to like work with more women.
Yeah.
You know, in every capacity with songwriters, like because a lot of times, like like I'm sorry, I know you guys are guys, but
If
like
you want to be vulnerable, you want to be
why-
free. You
But
want
it's
to
not
like
even.
be
I
able to
now
talk about
feel
it.
very free in front of men. Like I now don't care. I will literally say what the fuck is on my mind.
Yeah.
But like you don't realize it, but men literally run the whole world, like in the way that like every industry, the top chef, the top athlete, the top everything.
Yep.
And I'm like, so now I feel like since that experience, I try to find a way to bring a woman in the room if I can. A lot of songs are written like if there's a woman, like a lot of times the woman is the only writer. Like the artist that is the woman is the only writer on that song that is a woman, and I'm like that is so messed up. Like it's 2020,
Why is
and
there
I
men
feel like
writing for women? Like,
it's weird that it's 2020 and we're still slowly like men are still fully ruling the world when there's a lot of women that are also capable. I'm not saying give us the job because
Because you're
we're
a
women,
woman.
but
Yeah.
give it to us because we're fucking good.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I feel like there just needs to be more women that have a seat at the table.
Yes.
And if I had not worked with Robin so early on, I don't think I would have really thought like that. I would have probably been one of every other person.
do you still work with Robin?
I do actually.
That's awesome.
She co-wrote and co-produced one of the songs I've dropped, "Bodying You."
Oh, nice.
And we literally just like did something that I think is freaking fire. It's not done,
Sick.
but it's sick and it's different than like our regular stuff.
That's
So,
exciting.
Like, yeah, I think like sometimes when you find people that you like working with, like you have to like keep working with them.
Yes.
Do you know? For some reason, I feel like you do know Jocelyn Alice.
I don't know her personally.
I just remember her posting about you.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you guys.
She's
knew each
reached
other.
out. We chatted like
Yeah.
a couple times. I think we did do actually a session. She and I, Ria May. But like we don't know each other like in real life. Like
Yeah, I got you.
pandemic life though.
She is incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought you guys had known each other.
I mean, we do technically
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the pandemic, like
Gotcha.
through like social media.
Yeah.
You did say something that I really agree with wholeheartedly, and I think it's important to highlight. How you saying to work with people that you like to work with, I think is what you said, or something along those lines. Is it's really a beautiful thing to feel comfortable around someone and to work with someone that you're comfortable with, where there's no ego, there's no almost expectation. It's just somebody that you could consider a friend or someone that you could talk to outside of music in that regard. And I think it is very, very important. I really do think you get the best results out of that. So
These people literally become your friends, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you know, in the beginning, like when T hit me up, like we had both, I don't know if he told you guys how we met,
No.
but
how'd you guys meet?
so I won RBC's Canada's Walk of
Sick.
Fame,
Yeah.
like
Emerging artist, right?
yeah. So I was the
Legend.
Emerging Artist of the Year 2018, and then he was like second place.
Oh no, not the evil laugh. Not the evil laugh.
Yeah, his band back then was like second place to me. I was like, let's go.
Bones and Bridges.
Yeah.
That's right.
So he was like, yo, like I would love to like work with you, right? And I didn't even know him because
Right.
again, we did not meet anybody until that day.
Yeah.
We didn't know, none of us knew each other. I didn't but anyways, I was about to leave after my performance. I had a flight to catch to LA actually. And he was like, yo, like I'd love to like work with you like when you're back. And I was like, okay, like yeah, sure. Like, but I don't know if I was taking it seriously. It's so messed up. I don't know if I was like in a rush and I don't know how, like if I was really taking it seriously. But when I was in LA, he texted me. Like he's like, yo, like are we still on for this day? I was like, oh, this guy's serious.
Yeah.
Because
He's
people
not
in
just
the
saying
city
like,
are
oh, let's do
sketchy.
session.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I was like, because people are sketchy.
You hear that so much.
You hear that so
Yeah,
much,
yeah,
and
we'll
then
link,
no
we'll
one
link
hits
up.
you up.
Yeah.
So he actually like was like, "Yo, like, are we still on for this day?" Which I think was like a day or two after I got back from LA, and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Yeah, okay, fine, we will do it." And he also was with a girl, this writer that I actually had worked with like one other time prior. So I was like, "Okay, sick. Like, this guy's not sketchy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
This is a
You
real
could trust
thing."
him, yeah.
And literally, like, yeah, we had that first session, and that actually ended up being the song that I dropped called Want You.
Nice.
That was the first time we ever had worked together, and we just had really good energy. And that was like the start, but I don't know when it went from like 0 to 100, but like now we're good friends. Like now we're literally like, you know, we talk about real life. Like he told me he was going to get engaged like before he did. I mean, I also pressured him like every day. Like, when are you going to propose to Jesse? But like, you know, like he told me, and when they got back and they did it, like they called me before family. I'm like, what's good? I'm family now. Like, so like I actually connected like on a higher level, like with him, and it wouldn't have happened if I just had like blown him off. You know what I mean? But like. I don't know. T's a special guy, really good person.
He really is.
And
he
I
really,
think
really
all
is.
these people, like Robin and I, like we can sit down and have real conversations about real life, our mental health, and all that kind of stuff. Because again, if I'm sharing such personal things with you about my life while we're writing these songs, like I kind of want to know something about you too. Like I don't want to feel like I'm the only one here and I'm freaking naked and everybody's looking at me and laughing at me. Like
everyone knows your story, but you don't know.
Right? I'm like,
can
we
else.
level up the playing field a little bit? Like, so yeah, these people are literally my friends.
That's incredible.
I think I call FaceTime T every day.
Hey!
And
Do you, like, even to this day?
Yeah. Like, I think I FaceTime T.
That's
I think,
amazing.
for the past little bit. He was like a guy I met really early on in my like songwriting production career or journey. And like, you know, we would just like mess around, make beats together, and then it ended up being like I would go over to his house. We wouldn't even end up making a beat. We would just be chatting ideas and plans and what we want to do. And oh my God, wouldn't it be so cool if we did this together and this and this and this and this. And since then we've done so much together. But yeah, he's become super close.
It's really a beautiful moment when it goes from like just working to like you being fully comfortable with someone and you're just checking in, you know, like during the pandemic, even when we weren't doing sessions, you know, T would just call me and we would just chat for an hour.
It feels so good to call someone that you work with in music, but not be like, hey, I need you to get me this mix. It's just like, yo, what's good? What's up?
Literally, what's going on in your life? Like, I'm like, stop. Like, I was like, are we friends? I was like, are we friends?
Because it makes you feel like, yo, these people are actually, like, they like me for me. They want to hang out. They don't just want to come by the studio and work.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's why, to me, like I don't know, like it's good to like find your tribe. I do think it's always still good to mix it up with people. Like even it's like, all right, I love T. Let's work with this writer today. Let's work with this other co-writer today. Like let's mix it up. Or cool, I love this writer. Let's work with this producer today. Like I do think like I don't like to feel just comfortable in the way that musically, I feel comfortable as humans, but I don't want to feel comfortable
musically
and feel
creatively.
Like I'm settling. I feel like I'm settling creatively because, and I find a lot of people do that. Like a lot of people have, and again, it's not no shade, no shade,
no shade tossed,
no shade. But I do think a lot of people work with the exact same 3 people on everything.
And it can put you in a box very fast.
Right. After a while, I'm like, bro, like everything you just sent me sounds the same, bro. Like, I'm like, it sounds the same as the song before and the song before that. And like, to me, that's not exciting. To me, I'm like, can you find your magic and carry it through different sessions, through around the world in different content? Can you find it? And like, I just think that's, I think once you really find like your magic and what is special and different about you, like you have to find a way to like multiply that. And you have to find a way to like,
you gotta find people that can elevate what you already know that you want.
Exactly.
You know?
It's very well put.
Exactly. Elevate what you know you already want. And like I know like that's hard for me. Like I know like Christian, my manager, like he'll be like, okay, like we have to start getting you in with like these kinds of producers and
but sometimes you're like they don't make the same shit that I want. Like, it's not really my vibe.
Or sometimes it's like I know what he's saying and I know it makes 100% sense, but I'm like I don't want to leave my friends. Like you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm thinking in my mind. Like and then like my other manager will be like, Lou, like well, you know, like in order to give your friends the best opportunity at stuff, like you have to make it. Yeah. Like so
that is true.
Right. So he's like, I get it that you want really badly to make sure like everything is kind of like happening with these people that you love so much. And I'm not saying leave them at all behind, but just know that like if you work with this person,
you can level everybody up.
Right, you can level everybody up just from leveling yourself up and opening that door to having something really big. Then like you have more power.
Yes.
And
Very well
with
put.
power, it's like, all right, all my homies, let's go. We're on now. So I try to like remember that balance. I know we were having that conversation. Like, was it yesterday? Actually, I think it was yesterday. So I try to like remember that balance, but it's hard, man. It's hard.
No,
Out here
you-
for a pin.
Yeah.
You're 100%. No. You are 100% right, and that is certainly the case because it's like if you go and level up, you can bring that to the people that you love so much easier. Like so easily you could be like, oh, now I'm in a position to do this and say like, for example, something so light, but like say now you have a big deal and you're an artist and now your budget for songs is big. Now you go do a song with your friends, like I could actually pay you guys to do this
Right.
very well, or now I'm going to put you in the spotlight because now you're
or
going to
like
produce.
let's go do it. Come with me. Let's do a week
Yeah.
of sessions in LA with all these new writers that I have access to because I've leveled up.
Right.
And that I'm bringing you
Literally.
into it,
Or
you know?
like, you started this song. Let's bring in a co-prod. Like, that's a
Absolutely.
bigger name. Like,
Yes.
let's, like, you can literally, like, you have
There's
to,
so many ways.
find the way to move the wealth.
Yes.
Because the wealth is the goal. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, I do it because I love it, but you want to make sure your friends
You
and
need to
family
live.
are good. And
You gotta eat.
I have to eat
Yeah.
and live, especially if we're going to be at home for another 7 months. Like, I got to
Don't say that. Please don't say that.
I'm sorry. I'm going to take it back. I'm saying, universe, please don't. No.
Don't punish us.
I do kind of remember something I wanted to say earlier on.
Oh, yeah. Go
My
ahead.
Oh, it came
brain
back.
kind of started working a little bit again.
There she is.
It was the radio thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
The writing radio songs.
Yes.
I think it's so weird. Like, I really think it's really weird.
what about
and
it?
I think that
Oh yes, I was saying how everyone wants to write. Like the
Everyone
first thing they want
wants-
to write, they want a radio song.
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
that is, like, the goal. And, like, and I've been in sessions with people where they say that. They're like, yeah, like, let's write a radio, like, da-da-da. And, like, I understand what people mean when they say that.
Yes.
But to me, I think that takes away, like, the organic creativity of what you could have done in that day. Like, you're setting yourself up with all these, like, this pressure. And a lot of times when you go in a room and you're like, oh, let's write a radio song, like, you're not actually gonna do something more like, you're not really gonna do something futuristic.
All you're going to be thinking about is, would this melody work on the radio? When you're
Exactly.
trying to write melodies, you're going to be like, is this a radio hit catchy
and then
melody?
you just end up copying or redoing things that are already out instead of making something that's more brilliant that you may not have thought of if you just
I
went
think
in.
What's more powerful than saying something like, let's write a radio song? Because I understand, like you said, I understand why people say it. It means, hey, let's fucking try and have a catchy song here. Let's
Right.
not try and just write whatever. Because sometimes if you say, I've been in sessions and if we're like, guys, let's just keep it super chill. Let's write something super chill, like no pressure, no whatever. We end up writing like a really slow R&B song with
Right.
like 90s melodies, which is like, it's not easiest. I don't want to call it easy or anything, but it's like kind of free
not as
flowing. It's
easy. Right, it's
natural
more
for a lot of
free-flowing.
people, and that's what ends up coming out of it if you just give that nonchalant kind of chill vibe, which is great for some stuff. But I think it's you gotta, and like you said, you already know exactly what you want. If you come in and you're like, yo, this is what I sound like. I'm running this room. I'm the artist.
Right.
Follow my lead.
I think
know?
that, again, so I think those are the moments I'm like, okay, my angel has to come up and be like, maybe I am talking in a place of a little bit of privilege because, like, I'm not going to lie, like, I don't try to write radio songs, but I write a lot of radio songs.
Yep.
Like, my brain does think more in that kind of like this is the
Like structuring wise.
structure.
Yeah.
Like, this is the structure. I'm obsessed with a specific kind of structure.
Yep.
I'm obsessed with a specific kind of timeline. Like, I'm like, I don't want it to be over this time. Like,
course.
I'm very, like, sometimes I'll be like, yo, T, like, we got to cut it down. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm very obsessed with those kinds of, like, little things.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, I always end up writing something like that. And I like things that are anthemic for the most part. So I'm not, if anything, it's more rare when I do the more chill and like
Good.
free throwing like melody, but like I have to, like, that's me challenging myself actually, because the other one comes a little bit more natural than anything else. So I guess like that is my place of privilege because since I'm not trying for it, but it's happening for me. But then like
That's
telling
your
other
writing
people that
style.
it's right, other people where it's not happening for them, like they have to try for it.
Yes.
But I just think it kills so much of the magic and the juices in the room.
If you
just that,
set
like,
too many expectations,
Right.
I think that's the
like set
overlying.
an expectation of, yo, I'm gonna write a bop, I'm gonna write a 6 song, but
Yeah.
like
Yes.
don't like think so much in radio because it also just puts you in a box, especially if like you're like, oh, this might get me in trouble. Let me not say that. It's okay, especially if like you want like if you're thinking like radio for Canada versus a different market, you know,
Sure.
Canada has a very specific sound that it
Yes.
likes on the radio, and it doesn't a lot of time go further than that, outside of that, I
Right.
should say, not further,
Yep.
outside of that. So you can just put yourself in a box.
Yeah,
And, like-
I hear exactly what
Like,
you're saying.
I don't want to be in this box. Break that box, man.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. You sometimes they won't even consider putting it on radio if it doesn't fit a certain mold. Like,
Right.
Nick, you've had some songs that I thought would be sick for radio.
Yeah.
But we've heard from a few people that they wouldn't put it on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think
You
it's-
do more radio songs, I think, than I would. You do more dance and pop stuff. So you have more experience. But no, there have been some songs where I'm like, this is a sick radio song. And you're like,
and
no
then
one.
there's also some songs where you hear on the radio that you hear the formula. You hear the Canadian radio formula.
It's a very
you know?
specific one, you know, and you're like,
Yeah, and you're kind of just like, okay, sick, you mastered it. You mastered the formula.
yeah,
You know,
like, you
it's
know,
like,
and it's
you got it,
crazy
you did
because
it.
I don't know, for me, like, I don't want to do safe. Like, I love the risk. Like, I
Yeah,
love something that
always.
is just.
Isn't it so much more exciting?
It's more exciting for me to be like, yo, I just wrote this song and I'm obsessed with it, and I love that I did this melody that I would not normally do. Like I'm feeling like I'm growing as a writer and I'm growing as an artist.
My biggest, oh my God, I can't talk. My biggest excitement comes from when people show me or tell me about a plan for a song that I've never heard before.
Right.
Or not necessarily never heard before, maybe it's just a slight change from the regular, like,
It's not normal.
yeah, we're going to put this out, we're going to send it to Spotify, hopefully get New Music Friday, and then we're going to send it to the radio, and then radio's going to put it on, it's going to be on Virgin, and all this shit. And it's like, cool. I've heard that so many times. And like, how many times has it happened? Not that many times.
Right.
You know, come to me with like a new plan. Yo, we wrote a sick song, doesn't really fit on the radio, but we're going to target these types of playlists, and we're targeting this kind of blog because of this and because of this audience, and this is what my demographic is, so we're digging
That's
into.
literally how you develop a real fan base.
Yeah.
You know, I think people can tell when things are authentic and when they are not. So I think, like, again, like, a lot of these acts that you might hear on the radio all the time, like, people don't know who they are. People might know the song, but they don't know who the artist is.
Yeah.
And it sucks that there's this big disconnect a lot of times in pop. A lot of times in pop, like, unless you're a superstar, no one knows who the hell is singing the song. They just know, like, oh, I love this song.
That's true.
It's a good song.
That's
like,
very
you know
true.
what I mean?
Very
And
People got really good at marketing music.
right.
And just the music.
But for
though.
some weird
That's
reason,
the
like,
thing.
that happens a lot in pop, but in R&B and, like, in hip hop and, like, country and rock, like, I feel like those fans are obsessed with the artist. They're
Yes.
not. They're so much so that anything the artist puts out, they're obsessed with, even if it's like trash. It could be the
It's-
most trash
it's-
song, and they're like, "Yo,
It's like you
I'm
think
a
the
fan."
artist is cool. Like you just want to be friends with the artist
Right,
almost.
right,
Like, their
exactly.
image,
So I'm
their
like, I don't know
personality.
why there's this disconnect with pop, but for some reason, a lot of times in pop, like, you know the song, but you do not know the artist.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And I don't know, like, hopefully I can bridge the gap, because
Bridge that gap.
you gonna fall in love with Lukala now. So, and you gonna like the music. You gonna love the music. So.
Absolutely. It is true. It's funny that you say that because I have thought about that before. I'm like, oh, I really like this song, but I've never heard anything from the artist. I've never heard anybody
Right.
talk about the artist.
And you may not have gone as far as to, like, go find out all
Yeah.
this information
it's
about
true.
that.
It's true. It's interesting now that you bring it up. I haven't really given it much
I think
thought.
I'm bad at that. I think I hear a song on New Music Friday or whatever, and I save it to my playlist, and I'll think like, yeah, cool, I really like this song as a whole, and I won't even go search the artist. Like, I
Right.
think it's a bad habit that I won't like click on the artist and be like, what else do they have?
But, like, we all do it, but right.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I'm like, oh, this song feels special, I'll actually go and view the artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I'll go and be like, oh, like,
What
I
else they
might
got,
read
yeah.
a bio or, like, see
Yeah.
what else they got. I'm like, I don't know how many times I actually think what else they got, because I might just be, I'm a singles person. Honestly, I love singles.
Right.
I'm not somebody that's listening to people's body of work, like an album back to back, but
Right.
listen to my EP back to back. You know, like, I have to be really obsessed with you to actually, like, do that whole entire, like, process. But
Yeah.
I am more someone that, like, I do like more one-offs from people. And when I like something, I play it, like, solid 1,000 times in, like, that month, like,
Yeah.
maybe more.
I think
it's
that's kind of
bad.
like the
Yeah.
trend nowadays anyhow.
Is it?
I think nowadays a lot of things are very single focused as opposed to album focused.
Which is annoying because I love a body of work.
Yeah.
It's just it. like I just feel like I don't know if it's my ADHD, but like I'm like, yo, like it takes a lot of time to listen to something back to back and really listen to it, not listen to it while you're cleaning
or
and
driving,
all that kind of stuff. You know, really take it in.
There hasn't really been many projects or bodies of work that I've like really enjoyed throughout, and there's usually a point where like I hear the singles, I love the singles, I want to listen to the body work, I'll get to a couple songs that I'm just like not really my style, skip them, and then I'll end up skipping the body of work.
Right.
If I have to say one body work that front to back I love the entire thing,
No skips
is the Majid Jordan the Space Between album that they put out.
Oh,
like 2 years ago.
That's interesting.
For me, like I know that's not like, you know, they're not huge or anything, they're incredible musicians.
I think a lot of their
artists,
fans are obsessed with them.
Yeah,
Like, I know,
like I am like I for me it's because I can't figure it out production wise.
Right.
Like I listen to it and I'm just like kind of blown away most of the time
That's
at what they
crazy.
do creatively.
I definitely like I don't know too much of their music, and I think like again a big part of that is there's so many artists nowadays.
Yes.
Like I feel like when we were kids, like there was like 5 superstars.
Yeah.
You can get her, him, that, or that. Like that was
For like
it.
a 10-year span, it's like here's your 10-year block and you guys are gonna rule.
Nowadays, I'm like, shit, like, I don't know, like, a Lil Baby, Dub Baby, Ho Baby, like, a million dolls, Cuban doll, Cash doll, doll. Like, oh my gosh, there's just so, like, there's literally a new star every day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even know where to look. But I do think that there is a difference between, like, a new...
Maybe that's why people
cute
can't
thing.
fall in love with.
It's hard to fall in love when there's so many distractions.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to call people distractions, but I'm saying there's definitely a new person every day, or I should say a new 30 every day. But I think those who are great cut through.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's going to take a while for them to cut through, but when they cut through, it's for a reason. And I think, like, as much as some of, like, the OGs, quote unquote, love to diss like the new rappers and the new artists, and like, you know, they're like, oh, we're all weird now and all this kind of stuff. Like, I think that those
age.
that end up making it like on like the highest level,
They're still
a lot of times are great.
Yeah.
Because if anything, if you can make it through like this huge competition of everyone that woke up today and thought that they could be an artist out of nowhere. Yeah, that's shade. I meant that shit. Like that. If you can make it through that, then you're meant to make it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, the music is still the most important thing.
Right.
Like you can have like you can do a gimmick, say, or like you could do like you could do everything but the music, and yes, you could be hot for like maybe a year, maybe 2, but like it doesn't.
Nothing
last.
speaks louder than
you can definitely get a bop for the year, but like nothing speaks louder than like
an
great
undeniable like body of work or single or whatever that comes.
Right.
Like a good song's a good song no matter what.
Yeah.
You can not even try to promote the song. If it's a good enough song, it'll find its way.
It'll
Do you know
find
what I
its
mean?
way.
Like,
So
sure, that doesn't happen all the time. Of course, you need marketing and this and that.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, but
especially in pop. Like, who is a SoundCloud big pop star?
Nobody.
Fuck you, man. Like, I'm like, come on. Like, all these songs on freaking SoundCloud just pop off, like R&B songs or like hip hop songs. And I'll be talking to my friends. I'm like, yo, y'all don't even need videos. Like my friends that are like singers and R&B and stuff. I'm like, you guys don't even need videos. You just get put on because people like the song.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like pop is just a very different beast.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And like, you need to have everything.
yeah.
And really, you just need money, because if you have to make everything
You
look
need
and
a
sound
bank.
at the highest, you need a bank.
AKA
so, hey,
that
what
label.
Up, Sugar Daddy 101. Like, I'm looking for a bank, so you can pull up. Like, I'm just saying, like,
We're looking. We're Lou's
all
accepting
looking.
applications
I'm
to fund her
accepting,
artist career.
Like, my number is 6'4". No, I'm joking.
I want a sugar daddy too.
I'll take
Right.
one. Shit.
Right, I'll take a sugar mommy too. Like, someone just wants to give me the bank, and like, that's great. Honestly, like, I think that speaking of money, like, you really do need money to do these things at a high level.
Yes.
But like, I feel like some people like are content just dropping things that aren't that, like, that could have been better.
Yeah.
Essentially,
If you just spent that extra time, I
if
think
you
people
spent
get
that
excited.
little more
That's
time,
that's
and like
a tough thing.
Yeah,
The
some people, you know,
excitement, just
like
wanna get it
they
out.
won't even mix a song, or they won't do a good mix, like, you know what I mean, and things like that. And I'm like, I don't even have that like privilege, like, because I'm in pop, and I feel like in pop you have to like, if you're gonna compete, you have to compete, like, and I have, like, you have to make sure the mix is fucking good.
Yes.
It actually has to be very clean.
Has to be comparable.
It has to be
Yes.
comparable.
If you are not comparable, the like everyday listener can now tell the difference.
They can now tell the difference.
Like, sure, mix things. They're not going to be like, oh, this isn't mixed
but
correctly. But
for
like,
some reason, and in like rap and R&B, in my opinion, like
You can get away with more.
you can get away with so much of that stuff. It
Yep.
doesn't even have to be mixed. It
Like,
just
yo,
slaps.
remember when-
it just has to be loud
when-
in rappers.
When ZZ came out or something, and Kodak's verse was recorded through a potato, and then they had to re-record it because they realized, oh my god, this song's blowing up. You need to re-record your verse so it sounds cleaner.
Right.
And like they fixed it afterwards.
I'm like,
but, like,
I wish I could get away with these things, but if I can't get away with these things because then I
gotta
can't be
be
considered
polished.
for any of these playlists or any of these things. And I just honestly, I'm like, my face is representing it. I want it to be the best level that I can make happen
Facts.
where I'm at.
I think it also, funnily enough, comes back to, for pop, the fact that people maybe care more about the song than the artist, because if you say, you for example, had a fan base that was like a cult fan base that like loved everything you do, you might have more which will come soon, don't get me wrong, it'll be there soon.
Coming at a store near you. Follow me on Spotify and everywhere else.
But I think because people take they'll just listen to the song and they're like,
Right.
I just like this song. For them to be like, to look past the song and be like, well, I actually like Lukala, so I can look past the fact that maybe the song doesn't sound like, for an average listener, they won't be like, the mix is off. They'll be like, it sounds a little different, or I don't like the way this sounds to me.
Right.
But versus like, because pop might be like, as you're coming up, rather, like not when you're a superstar, is a little bit more faceless. It's a little bit more music first.
Right.
People, you have to come with that. It needs to be polished. It needs to be perfect, because that's going to be like a lot of people's first and maybe only impression of you.
Exactly. And I think like because like my voice is definitely like a little bit different, so because of that, like I have to make sure like, oh shit, it doesn't sound too harsh
Yes.
in like this mix, and it doesn't in like more in the master, and like all this kind of stuff. Like those are like the tweaks that I have to like really be careful about.
Yes.
But I'm like, damn, like I wish I could just like, and I'm not saying that R&B and rap is easy. It's not easy. Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
There's a reason why
different.
there's only a few of them that are superstars, and then there's a bunch of people that just that wake up and want to be stars. But but like I'm not saying that it's easier, but I feel like there's like this other level that you're almost held up at
in pop. Right.
And it's already hard to cut through because like I'm a black woman, I'm a plus size woman, and I'm in fucking pop. You know what I mean? Like pop is blonde hair, blue eye, 100 pounds. Like this is like the world that like those are, I guess, the stars we're kind of used to seeing.
Sure.
In that world. So like to come here and like just be so left of all of that description.
Yeah.
It's like it's already like a shit. Like I don't even know if people will open the email. You know what I mean? Because they might just be like, I don't get it. And I think that was a thing like in the beginning. Like a lot of people were like, I don't get it.
Which
and then
is
out of nowhere, it's, I
classic.
fucking get it because everyone else is starting to get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. I'm like,
Oh,
I'm sure you
he
heard-
gets it? Then I get it. I get
Right.
it. Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I'm sure you heard of me before or you heard my music before, but like now you get it. You know, like now we're like the world is changing like a little bit, like day by day.
The I don't get it is so... I love when I hear that. It's like, oh, come on. Like,
Right.
It's such a lazy excuse.
It's such a lazy excuse, and I think
like, oh, well,
you
you
know,
get
I
it
think
when
in the
the head
beginning
of
people would be like,
whatever
so
gets-
how do you even market this? You know what I mean? Like it's not the package we're used to. Like so exactly that's the laziness because you're not trying to find a way to like how do you make this
People
a
go,
thing?
this doesn't fit into our template.
Right.
What do you mean?
And I think people were so used to giving us packages.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Even though a lot of the OGs like will diss like the new music and stuff now, like you guys are a package. First of all, like, so I'm like, let me let you guys know, like, I'm a fan, but you guys, a lot of you were completely created. Whereas, like, I think a lot of new artists are creating themselves now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that we have to respect some of the new artists as well.
Of course.
Like, it's like, I think it goes both worlds, though I feel like, I don't know.
Speaking of packages, what is the name of your EP coming out in? Well, by the time
This will be out right
This'll be
after.
out.
Right
My
after.
EP's out right.
There you go. What's it
Right
called? Tell
now.
them what's it called.
My EP is called Worthy.
Worthy.
Damn.
One more time.
It's called Worthy.
Tell them one more time.
Worthy.
There it is.
I'm worth loving. I'm worth every little thing I want in this life.
Legend.
Damn,
And
right.
My EP, honestly, like I can't wait for people to hear it, which you're already listening to.
Exactly.
I can't wait for people to hear it because it's vulnerable. It's really who I am and how I feel about certain situation and about a fuckboy or two that.
Oh.
And, and
Oh,
it's also
shit.
fun, like you know, like
Hear it on
there's-
the EP.
Hear it on the EP, like you know, there's some moments and the people I created with, like I'm just like very grateful that a lot of these people just were down to be in the room with me. You know, like I
course.
literally was.
I'm so
someone that
excited
had
for you to
one
put this
little
EP out.
song. I'm so excited. Like, I don't think you guys understand.
Low key gonna ask T for the EP before the release date,
Oh,
so I can
don't
obsess
you
over
dare.
Well, honestly, a lot of the stuff T and I have done, like, have been like the second level of things.
Yeah.
The second, like,
after,
the
coming in.
afterlife, because most of the songs are from 2018.
Nice.
But one of
Right.
the T songs did make it on.
Nice,
because
nice.
I was like, no, we have to put my boy T on this, you know? But literally, like, a lot of the song, like speaking of Jack, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, Jack actually co-produced one of the songs on.
There you go.
On the project, Yours for the Night.
There you go. Yours
Nice.
for the night.
On
Shout out
Yours
Jack.
For the Night.
Shout out Jack.
Roshan. Shout out Lord Quest on that one.
Oh, shout out
Dope.
request.
You know, so I literally, like, I'm really excited for people to just have a body of work that they're going to listen through and through.
Of course, on repeat.
On repeat,
Naturally.
a body of work that I feel like really shows, like, yo, like, this is me. Like,
Yeah.
this is really who I am. I'm not hiding from nobody. Like, you guys are going to, like, I hope people see themselves in me.
How many songs is on the EP?
There's 8 songs. So
Damn.
people are like, is that an album? Like, shut up, it's EP.
No, it's that's EP. I would
Yeah,
say
yeah.
8 songs is an EP.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and like, Don't Kill Me On's on there, but Don't Kill Me's not been out for minutes. But
you need
all
it.
the
Yeah,
other
it's
new
good.
songs, like, you know, I'm like, it has to be on because that
course.
started the
You needed
whole,
a home somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
It needed a home, but like, there are 8 songs, and I think they're solid songs. There's some heavy pop shit for the pop lovers. I'm popping up for y'all.
Pop.
And then, you know, there's some things that lean a little bit. Honestly, it's all pop, but it leans a little bit, just a teensy bit, you know. And I think, like, my thing is, I like to I like people to hear a real message. So I don't think any of the songs are just like, I went to the store,
Right.
I wanted to look good.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but
It's not what you.
every single song is really representing me, whether like it's my sassy side, whether it's my I'm crying by myself, but y'all will never see my tears in real life.
It's very personal.
I like
It's
that.
very personal.
That's
I love that you have
amazing.
all those sides.
It's all of them.
I'm very much looking forward to listening to
Same.
this. It's going to be quite, and right now, as you guys listen to this, viewers,
Yeah.
it's out. So go listen to it. I've already listened to
Stop
it.
this podcast right now.
Yeah,
Go listen to it.
get that shit out.
Pause
of here.
this.
Pause it and
I've
go run
already
You can
that.
come back
Listen
to
to
this.
That
Run
is
that
amazing.
shit.
Yeah, truly.
And you know, I'm excited for like, again, like from Toronto, like I'm excited to bring out like a different little sound, like because we're gonna be global, honey. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
excited for a
absolutely.
new
All right.
sound and to have new babies following the sound. Because, you know, I feel like every time like a wave happens, there's like a million people like
yeah.
that
So
kind
a
of
lot of people jump on.
that jump on. So I'm excited for the generation of Lukala babies to follow. But, you know, Lukala has to
love
be
it.
up
I
there
truly
first.
do.
So
I love
give me a
that.
little bit. Give me a little bit of time. But I'm excited from Toronto. And I think that, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm just, again, I love Drake. I love all these people, but
Yeah.
I'm excited for something new.
You're excited to bring something new.
Bring
to the
your
table.
own sound.
And
out of
hopefully
Toronto.
my new sound collaborates with Drake one of these
Oof.
days.
Drake, if you're listening,
Champagne
Drake listens
Papi
to
was
this podcast.
poppin'.
Drake, if you're first of
Drake
all,
listens to this podcast.
first
so
of all, come on the show. Second of all, Lukala.
Lukala, Drake, go listen to
Holla
her.
at your boy 40. He know the kid.
Yeah, there you
Let's go.
I'll at 40. You know the kid. Nick, do you have anything that you want to ask Lou before we wrap it up?
I think we covered.
Yeah,
so
that was
much.
amazing.
Yeah.
That was a great conversation. Lou, thank you so much for
Hey.
joining us on
Yeah.
Thoughts in Stereo.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm very much, again, I can't say it enough. I'm very much looking forward to hearing the EP. Listeners, the EP is already out, called Worthy. Spotify. It's going to be on everything, I would imagine.
Everything.
Everything.
Every platform. I'm having a new music video. Love Shit drops. It's probably out right now.
It's out right now.
It's out right
It's
now.
out right now. Go listen to that shit. Go watch that shit. Lou, thank you so
Thank you.
much for
Yes,
coming,
thank
sharing your story, sharing your experiences. I say this every time. We're so lucky to have so many fantastic guests. You are another one of them. Our listeners are going to love it, and they're going to take a lot out of this. So thank you so much.
I want to say you are a really great example of an emerging artist in the sense
Thank
that
you.
you know exactly what you want.
Absolutely.
And that is such a hard thing for people to find.
Absolutely.
And that is where a lot of people get lost and kind of call it quits, is when they can't find exactly what they want to do. And you found that, and congrats. It sounds dope.
Thank
I love
you.
the sound. Listen to the EP right
Listen
now.
to goddamn EP.
Worthy out now. Follow me. I go by Lou.
I go
And
by
that's
LU.
LU,
That's
yes.
LU, guys. Okay, bye.
Peace.
Listen to Worthy.